what you rocking to?
Oh, no, I'm rocking to you, girl. I'm rocking to you.
Uh-oh. Everybody, this is Paula Newsome.
Hey, y'all. Hey.
Now that you see that face, you know her, right? She's that actress that you know her when you see her, right? I know. How you doing, sister?
Hey, I'm good. It's so good to see you. Thank you.
Great to see you, too. You look so beautiful.
Thank you, baby. Thank
you.
you.
So beautiful. How you feeling? How you quarantining? How you staying safe?
How am I quarantining? You know what I do? What I realize the challenge for me, because I'm one of those people, kind of more of a, what do you call it? Introvert than an extrovert. I'm kind of an introverted extrovert.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't know the introvert.
I know. With people that I know and feel safe with, I'm an extrovert. With people that, you know, in work situations or I tend to be more of an introvert. So this time at home, you know me as a homebody. I can stay at home.
I do, yeah.
So this time for me has been okay. Certainly. Prayerful for people who are going through any kind of challenge, whether it be emotional or financial or health-wise. You know what I mean? Because that doesn't hit the world, everybody equally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel desperately for that, and I'm very grateful that I grew up in a family that my father was really good at providing for us. You know, so he set a really high bar. You know, and so I say all that to say I'm okay. I FaceTime with people a lot. I try and FaceTime with like 3 people a day. I get together. I make sure I connect with people. You know, because that's the way for me to get through this.
Yeah, I've seen your social distance visits on IG.
You like, are you okay? Are you safe? I'm like, I'm safe. They're way over there.
Yeah. Did you have a lot of work that got canceled because of COVID?
I'm gonna tell you, I did an episode of The Twilight Zone in January up in Vancouver. Right before this, like just as it was ramping up, and after that, all work kind of went shut down. So I didn't have anything on the books that was coming up other than that.
I know, but honey, you do pilot season like no one I know.
Ow.
I mean, come on now. You do. I mean, first of all, you live for it. It is a where for some of us it could be a chore. It could be like, oh God. For you, it's like, let's do this work. You get excited about it, and you always come out with great results, either great feedback or bookings. I mean, you do, so you must have missed a little bit of that this season.
I'm sure everybody's missed because there's really nothing going on, you know?
Yeah.
But before, I was lucky enough to work, so I'm okay, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm grateful because these past couple of years were really, really, really busy for me. So
I know. Yeah. You got to do Chicago Med in your hometown of Chicago.
That was amazing. And you know this, and I'll just talk honestly, I lost my dad.
Yeah.
A year ago on July 10th, and the universe had it worked out that I was in Chicago the year before, and right after he left, I like to say, is when my job there ended. I think isn't that amazing?
You know, God always provides what we need when we need it. And I used to live in fear of not being able to care for my parents. I remember I used to just worry about that. How am I gonna, I'm an actor, I'm a starving actor. Right. How am I gonna take care of them? And here we are, you know, and
who
it's
knew,
all
right?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know, all the folks who are listening, I have known this woman since we met. I'm going to show you something. We met. When was it? When did we meet? What year was it?
It was in the 90s. I wasn't even married. I had just gotten married. What? That's us, y'all. We're doing Beehive.
That's you. Angela. That's me. And that's Thursday. What's her name? Thursday?
Thursday. No, yes.
We were the Supremes.
We were the Supremes.
We were the Supremes. I'm going to show you another one. And this, we were hanging out. My sisters came down to visit. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see it. That's me in the hat.
That's you in the hat. That's Thursday. That's me next to you and my sisters on my left.
I see. That's when the black girls in the cast got together. Everybody used to get scared when the
they didn't like it. They didn't like it. I'm going to show you this one. This is something I saw that, look at this. You don't know this one. Look at that.
Is that you?
That's me. First of all, when I saw it, I was like, I look skinny.
Well, you're still skinny, but is that from Beehive?
I have no idea what's that from. I don't know.
I love it. I love the glasses.
And I love the polka dots all over everything.
Yeah, yeah. Now, speaking, yes, so we met doing Beehive in Florida, in Sarasota, Florida, in the 90s. I got married in 96. So it
95.
I wasn't married, was I?
No, you weren't married. You were engaged.
Yes, because yes. And so it was 95.
Yeah. Right after I finished Carousel.
Yes.
And,
oh my goodness, it was such a great time. We had a great time. So you have done this thing. You were doing musical theater with me. You did Carousel on Broadway. Yep. And now you have this wonderful film and television career. Okay. How did you make that transition from musical theater to film and television? Did you find that easy to do, or were you intentional about your steps?
I was always intentional about it, because one thing that first of all, I got these, and you know this, I got these books. I was introduced to these books one called Conversations with God. And in Conversations with God, I told you about it, God talks about how to create. God talks about that your life, that we are co-creators with God. And we create our lives and we are given the power to create our lives just as God creates our universe, right? And we create our lives with our thoughts, our words, and our deeds. And if those things are all consistent with one another, then poof, it cannot help but be so. So how we go about it is, if you speak about it, if you think it, if you speak about it, and you act in the knowing of it, right? So if you say, oh, I'm having a horrible day, poof, you're having a horrible day. If you're saying, I'm in the process of creating immense wealth through my film, television, and theatrical career, poof. But you have to think, act, and speak, and act so that they're all consistent, right? Right. So I did that. Then I found this other book called Creative Visualization that basically does the same thing. It's a way to, they used affirmations to make firm things with your word, with your thoughts and your words and your actions, right? My phone keeps going, my iPad keeps going to sleep. I keep it awake. I'm new to this. And then, what else? Then I found this book called The Artist's Way.
Yes.
And with those three things together, I was able to create, with the help of God, no question, the career that I today enjoy. What I will tell you is I was doing theater in Chicago. I was doing theater in New York, doing theater all over the country. I went to Spain and. And then a friend of mine, Dennis O'Hare. Do you remember Dennis O'Hare?
Yeah.
Dennis O'Hare gifted eye. He now lives in France with his husband and his son.
Wow.
And he came to see a show I did. It was at the Playwrights Horizons. We make $400-something a week. And I was like, woo, we in the money now.
I remember that play, I think.
Money.
It was right before you moved to LA.
It was right before. It was Mud River Stone by Lynn Nottage, currently Pulitzer Prize winning Lynn Nottage. And he came to me after the show, took me out, and was like, thank you. He was like, stroke, happy. And he goes, I asked him what he was doing. He was like, I just finished his television gig. I was like, oh, really? Television? You're doing television? He was like, yeah, I made so-and-so doing television. I was like,
talking about money.
I need to talk. Let me be specific. He said he made $10,000 in 1 week. And now he's making way more than that now, but $10,000 in 1 week. And I was like, I need to do.
And you were making $400.
I was making $421 and was rolling. that's what I decided. I'm gonna do me some television. So I started using my creative my creative visualization to change my thoughts, words, and deeds towards what I chose to do, which was television. And 6 months later, I was offered a television show. I flew out, they flew me out, flew out to Los Angeles, and I decided to stay. And I've been here ever since. And I will tell you, there are times of panic. There were times of genuine panic. And what I would do most of the time is I would get up, I would pick up that creative visualization, I'd thumb and open up the book and just do the exercise that God showed to me at that time, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would do my artist way. I create another artist way group. I chose to think of the things that God said in conversations with God as being law. As being law. I took it as law.
Okay.
And poof. What I also did, and when I got to LA, because I went to college. I trained as a musical theater major.
Yes, you're an opera singer too. You sing opera.
I do.
Yes.
I do. I love you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And when I came to in New York, it wasn't much, but Los Angeles, I noticed there weren't as many people who had been to school. You know, people go, and I was so fortunate that I'd been to school and therefore had techniques that I had not created a process of my own, because what I had to do after I got to Los Angeles was really develop a process. Mm-hmm. That I could book jobs, that I could go in, because you will get an audition at 6 p.m. the night before and be expected to go into work, meaning to an audition the next day, mm-hmm. being ready to go, right? Mm-hmm. So I had to develop a process for myself. So what I did, because financially I made all this money doing television and doing this job, but after that show was canceled.
Tell us what that job was.
It was called Conrad Bloom. It was with Linda Lavin, Mark Feuerstein, Steve Landisberg, Lauren, what's Lauren's last name? Shoot, she's done a bunch of stuff. Anyway, sorry, Lauren. But after that job, my money started going like this, right? Because mm-hmm. mm-hmm. I didn't know what to do. And then somebody suggested that I go to a 12-step program that tells you how to handle your money. Because
what?
I didn't know how to handle my money, girl. I didn't know.
So many actors don't know how to handle their money. No. This is awesome.
No. So I went to this 12, and if you want to know specifically, send Angela, and I'll tell Angela about it because it's a thing. And I'll be specific in an email or whatever. You help me.
Yeah, DM me if you want the specifics of this. I want it too. The 12-step money program. Come on.
So what happened in that 12-step money program? The guy said, you should make commercials your day job. And I was like, you got to be out of your mind. That's like earning your living by lotto. That makes no sense. And yes. He was like, I was like, I will go and audition for commercials if it's okay if I go to a temp job. And he was like, fine. We argued, split up.
Okay, so the person was telling you not to take a temp job.
They were telling me not to take a temp job. Mm-hmm. They were told because they knew about my history. They knew that I would, right? So next thing you know, girl, I called my agent and I was like, "Now, don't break up with me. I know I ain't booked nothing. Don't break up with me." I said, and I need to book some stuff. I don't want to take a class. She goes, "Well, there's this class." I went into this class. This guy named Stuart K. Robinson. You can find him on here by Stuart K. Robinson. I'll find it later. Ask in the chat. DM her and I'll give it to her. Mm-hmm. And I went from being no commercials to callback queen to booking queen.
Oh my God, you are the commercial queen.
I did campaigns. At one point, I had done like 40 commercials for IBM. But I will tell you, the challenge of that is people start recognizing you as a commercial actress. I've been on Broadway. I don't want to be recognized as a commercial actress. You know what I mean? I didn't want that. Right. But what it did do was it gave me money so that I had resources to be able to hire someone at 6 o'clock at night to pay her first $25 an hour first to help her run. And what it was, we would run lines together so that it also helped me when I went into auditions. I wasn't panicked about having to get that job. I was more intent on doing a good job.
Wow. So not be panicked about trying to get the job, but be more intentional about doing a good job.
Exactly. And when I hired my friend to run lines with me, it was basically just rehearsing, which was something that I know. I know how to rehearse because of all those years doing plays, right?
Right.
And what my teacher taught me in college is that television is a visual medium. And this is also what Dennis O'Hare taught me. Television is a visual medium. 80% of what the human mind takes in is visual. Like you see me doing this more so than you hear my words.
Right.
You also see me go like this.
Right.
More so than you hear my words. And
stop teaching this lesson.
It's true. Woo! So that's why, and Dennis O'Hare taught me that in television, we act in the spaces.
And that's what you taught me.
In theater, we act on the line because television is a visual medium.
Right? Are you guys listening to this? This is so good. She taught me this one night, I was sitting in my car.
Where were we?
My pencil. Where were we? I was sitting in my car in New Jersey. You were in Los Angeles, and you started talking, and it was so good. I had to go get my pen and pad, and I was in a dark car writing it. This is so good. Listen to this again. I want everybody to hear this. In theater, say it again.
It is, you act on the line. That's why, think about Shakespeare. Shakespeare had about 45 different words for love because there was a lot of space between the audience and the stage. It was the word that carried the message. It was taken in through most of what the brain took in back then was through the word. With the invention of television, and even now with this and all the different social, it begins to be about the visual, right?
Yeah.
So you see me doing this more so than you hear my words. It's because the brain has switched over to being majority visual. And that's what Dennis O'Hare, so he taught me that in the theater, we act for the space. We're taught to fill the back of the house, right?
Yes.
Words like, as I change now, it's different. So I'll show you the difference. It's the difference between speaking like this, so that everybody can hear. Just speaking like this, so that everybody can hear.
Yes.
You see the difference? Do you see the difference?
Yes.
Because when you go into an audition, there's that camera. Right. So I did all that, right? So I started acting in the spaces. But then what I realized is as we rehearsed, I had developed a process to tell the truth because the camera is really good at being a lie detector, right?
Yes.
Mine goes to sleep so quick. And so what we have to do is what I decided to do is commit to telling the truth. And I was willing to take that risk because I had money coming in for commercials, right?
Yeah, because telling the truth is risky.
It's risky.
But because you had taken on a second job, a day job of a commercial career, you had money to take risks.
I had money to take risks in my auditions, right? Still myself tomorrow, great.
So, but what does not telling the truth look like? Is that more like
being more focused on how you say something than making your point to the other person and being more interested in what the other person, you know?
Yeah. Being more interested in results.
The result.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So what I found is a way of working for me that I learned when I was in college. Because then you're going through, when I'm in my room, I set up the room that we rehearse in to look like audition spaces, so that my body can get used to auditioning. You know what I mean?
So you hire this girl to come and rehearse with you.
Yes.
before your audition, and you set up your room in your house to look like an audition space so
Yes.
that when you walk into that audition,
Yes.
you've been doing that.
But I will tell you the deal is that what I had to do over time is tweak the time outside the room. Because when you get into when you're in the audition, when you're rehearsing, you're in the groove. You don't have to reach for anything, right? So then what I discovered is I had to protect my prep outside the room, so that when I'm outside the room, I can write about the image or what images or whatever I need to have when I go in the room, so that I don't have to get it up when I'm in the room. It's already there, and all I have to do is take a deep breath. Right? Are you with me?
So when you're in the waiting room, waiting to go in, is that what you're doing?
Yes, I have a notebook and a pen, and now I put earphones in my ears, and I play music, so that when I go in the room, I don't have to like dig up some stuff, or essentially
dig up your
emotional prep. And now, after being so blessed with all that, and now I go in the room, and it's just, and it makes it easy. It makes it easy.
Wow.
It makes it easy. And I'm so grateful, because now I memorize my lines too. Because Dennis told me to remember. He thought it was worse. And now I can't imagine doing it any other way, because when you're not memorizing your lines, you're busy, your top of the head is auditioning.
Yes.
And then you're trying to, oh shit. Right?
Right. Well, let me ask you this. I remember you said to me one time, we were talking a few years ago about self-taping, and you were saying that you said, I love being in the room. I like to go in the room. And those of us who hadn't had the opportunity to go in the room as much, couldn't really relate to that. But I loved that. When I had opportunities to go in the room, I would always think of you. But now that the world is all about self-taping, how are you adjusting to that?
I'm going to tell you, I am very, very fortunate that most of my work that I book, I am offered. It is rare, and I'm very grateful for that. Very grateful for that.
But that's the work you did, though. You did
that work.
I
put that work in.
Yeah.
I put that work in that room over there.
That's right.
I put that work in. But I've done some really great auditions on self-tape. I ain't booked near one of them. But I tell you, and it's been the same kind of audition that I've done. But I will tell you what I like about going in the room, and this is what I feel. You walk in the room, and after I've done my prep outside, I don't pull myself so far out of I try and keep the integrity of where I was. I keep my mind's eye more on what my body is feeling than kikiing with the casting director or whoever else. I make what I come in the room with more important than connecting. I'm kind, I'm polite, but I'm still doing my work, because I have to, they're going to call, the camera's going to go on, and I have to be ready, right? So it's like 20% with them, 80% with what I've been creating out in the room, right? And what I like is when the work starts, it's like right now. Did you feel that? How the room kind of goes.
Yeah.
The room leans in. It becomes, to me, it feels like, how did my screen keep going dark? My screen. Oh,
but it doesn't go dark to me.
It doesn't. Oh, does it? Okay. That it feels like the room becomes pregnant. It goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It leans into you like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And once I'm there, you can surf it. You find it, but it's born of the honesty of the work.
Yeah.
That is born of that. Yeah.
So you really get that lean in. People are leaning into you, and you can see that. And when you're self-taping,
I don't think of it as me. I think it is a lean into the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't, you know? And when I'm self-taping, I just like the human bodies in the room. I like bodies in the room, you know?
Are you very selective now about the things you will and will not do?
I will say no to things, yeah. I am. Yeah, I will. I mean, some stuff, some stuff they want you to do exactly as you did something before. I remember, and before, like in Little Miss Sunshine, I was asked to audition, mind you, for some stuff that was exactly like Linda the bereavement counselor, Linda the bereavement liaison from Little Miss Sunshine, you know? And it was like Hollywood thought I was that. Oh, that's who she is, right? And then came up, what was it? It was City of Television, your thing from Going Dark. How do you keep it from going to sleep?
I don't know. I think you would have to program that prior to.
In settings?
Yeah, your settings are probably set to.
Okay, we'll keep touching it. So, and you just have to keep doing good work to create other opportunities.
I see. So never look at an audition as just an audition. It is creating more opportunities for you than just that job.
Correct. And for a long time, now people know me differently. And I'm sure, like people were talking to me before the season shut down about doing a job that was basically just like the role I played in Barry without the Henry Winkler part, without the love interest part, you know? But that we didn't get to anything on that because the season shut down because of COVID. But so that's what they do. That's what happens, kind of. You know?
Yeah, because you were in Boomerang too.
I was.
And you got offered that?
Yeah.
Girl.
That was the cutest thing in the world. I'm gonna tell you, because you know Lena, who's not gonna want to work with Lena, right?
Right.
And my agent wrote me about it, and she was like, well, "You're being offered this." I'm like, "What? What is this?" And then right after she called me, I get an email from Lena Waithe. I get a friggin' email from Lena. I'm like, "Girl, if I had done a vision board, you'd have been on it." Hell yeah, I'll take it. You know, because you know, and it was a blast. It was a blast.
You enjoyed it.
I did.
So what was it like working with Henry Winkler?
Henry is a big kid. He's a big kid. He's very playful. He's very it's like walking on a high wire act with him. You know what I mean? You just have to be in the moment and respond to what is there, to what is. But that's because of that's easy for me now. You know, responding to what is.
Yeah. You know? Would that have made you very nervous in the early days of your career?
You know, I'm going to tell you this. I am very, very, very lucky and fortunate to have had 3 women, 2 particular, who filled my well, who basically let me know who I was as an artist. So I've always had confidence in the gift that I have been given. You know? And I know if I know my lines, if I have a good emotional connection, then I'm okay. I'm good. So I don't think I would have ever, maybe in theater, when I was doing theater, I would have been a little like, oh my God, this is the friggin' Fonz. But everybody turns into a human being.
Yeah. Yeah. Who are those 3 women?
2 women, actually. My first acting teacher in high school, her name is Lillian Mackle. And I played Rose in Gypsy. Rose, Gypsy's mom, Mama Rose. I should have gotten that picture. Oh my God. Oh my God. And she filled my well. She let me know who I am as a performer. And I got confidence built in. And also, this teacher of mine, her name was Marita Woodruff. And there's nothing like those teachers that let you know who you are as an artist.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And thereafter, I really didn't feel intimidated. I felt always like I was dealing with another actor.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that is the reason, because I used to struggle with nerves a lot. And I think it was really because I didn't have those voices. And I wonder, my voice seems to be echoing from your end. Do you have the volume turned up a lot on your iPad?
I got to find the volume now, girl. Hold on, let me see. Oh God, let me see. Okay. All right. Wait a minute. Oh, maybe I do. I'll turn it down. Can you hear? Talk some more.
Hello, hello, hello.
Is that better?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna turn you up a little bit more.
Hello.
How's that? I can hear you.
It's good. So, I was gonna say, I think people came along later. My mentor in Florida, who's kicked me to New York, Todd Booth, and my teacher, Bill Esper here. So those kind of wonderful affirming people, they came along later for me. But that's why I I try to be that to everybody. Child, I don't even really care if what you're talking about makes sense. Do it. Yes, do it. Do it. Do it. Because I think that it's so important. And many times I have found people that I affirmed that I didn't quite get what they were trying to explain to me what was their vision, because I realized I am a human being. So there's no way I'm going to really get what God has given you to do. And so whether I get it or not is not important. What's important is that you felt safe enough to share it with me. And I'm going to cheer you to the very end, because that's going to take you, just like those teachers did for you. So,
and at the same time, I remember I had a teacher when I got out of college. I went to Victory Gardens, I think, in Chicago. This teacher there, I went up and did a scene, and she basically was like, it's nothing special. You're not really, there's nothing really special about what you do. She said that.
Yeah.
She's like, there's not really, and she went on for a piece. And I felt myself like, ooh, like going to becoming a waitress. But because I'm a fighter, I was like, by the time I got down to the car, I was like, oh, hell no. There will be those people. I had a major casting director a major casting director who wrote to my agent, she's not really special.
I wonder how they feel now.
Huh?
I said, I wonder how they feel now.
Oh, hold on. Sometimes I gotta admit, I did write that first person a little.
You're breaking up a little bit.
I did write that person a little email a little while. It's coming back. My friend keeps calling me and breaking up. How's that? Are we back?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that happened with me and Bill Esper, my amazing acting teacher. What'd you say, Paula?
The same thing happened.
Oh my goodness. When I interviewed with him to get into the program, he didn't audition people. He said he could just tell. So he didn't believe in audition. He said, you don't know what you're doing anyway, so why should I audition you? You know, you don't know what you're doing. So, but anyway, afterwards, like the first couple of days of work, he said to me, you know, you have a lot of tricks. They're just tricks. Hopefully at the end of this year, you can stop doing those. I thought I was working, honey.
You give him one of these, whip out one of those.
You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're stopped. You're frozen.
Are you still there,
okay.
Honey?
You're back. I'm here.
Okay, good.
So, but yeah, so, you know, it turned out to be the best years of my whole career. And we ended up being, he ended up being just a hero in my life. Rest in peace, Bill Esper. So, you know, negative criticism, that's not the end of the world. Sometimes, like you, it will push you. Because, honey, I every time I did something, I was like, that's not a trick. That's truth. You know?
I remember with Tanya. I saw Tanya.
Huh?
That job. My connection is not me. Am I there?
I'm not getting any of it, babe. I'm not getting any of it.
Are we back?
Okay. Tell your person to stop calling you.
I don't know how to turn that off from my phone. I wish I discontinued that. I'm sorry.
Okay, so tell me what you were saying, Tanya, something?
That what Tanya said is be grateful you didn't get that job, because the person who had a vision for that, you would not have been able to fulfill your vision.
I know. Wasn't that good? I loved that. So now let me ask you this. So you came up with a process, and you told us what your process is, which I absolutely love.
Thank you.
When you, I mean, because there's this level of generosity that you have. You, like I said, you told me everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gave me a whole class on booking film and television. You did not have to do that, and I appreciate that. But I want to tell the audience who's watching, I just, because I want to tell publicly something else you did. So we talked about that Conrad Bloom. What was it?
Conrad Bloom.
Yes, that was your first sitcom. So one day, Paula and I are having lunch. She has come back from Los Angeles after booking her first sitcom. And she and I are having
I was coming
lunch.
to see some plays.
Yes. And we're having lunch. And we were at Island Spice. You remember that?
Yeah, we were.
And we were having some Jamaican food and talking. And while we're at lunch, I get a call that I have booked a Crest commercial. Speaking of commercials. And
and back then we were like, hat for commercials? That was like, woo!
Yes. So I have booked this commercial. I have never been broker. And I meant that. But I've never been more broke than I was at the moment those people called me and said that I booked that commercial. And so, you know, I had done 2 commercials before, so I had to join SAG. And to join SAG, it was like at that time, $1,200?
$1,200.
$1,200. And so my agent called, said, you booked this Crest commercial. It's national. It's going to make a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. You have to join SAG, and it's $1,200. I don't have no $1,200. So I'm trying to figure out, and I'm telling Paula, and we're having lunch, and I'm like, I just booked this guy. But they want $1,200. I don't have no $1,200. We continue our lunch. And my superstar friend who just got this wonderful television show, we're getting ready to go. And she pulls out her purse and writes me a check. I wouldn't be in SAG today if my friend hadn't written that check.
And what's amazing about that is, like, I took that tithing is serious, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, oh, I haven't tithed yet.
And you gave it to me.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, my baby, my sister.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I did that commercial and ended up getting what is it, outgraded. It came out and I wasn't in it.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Listen, somebody just wrote that your check to me, that was a stimulus check. Yes, it was a stimulus check. Yeah, I wasn't in it.
Wow.
But I was a member. I was a part of SAG then, and I booked other commercials after that. So, you know, but let's talk about, so your generosity, is that something you committed to being when you became famous? You were going to be generous? Or is that just because you love me?
You know, I never made a commitment to anything. I just knew that part of, like, in conversations with God and in creative visualization, it talks about giving back. Mm-hmm. It talks about, they call it currency because you're supposed to spread it around. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't a thing. Mm-hmm. And it also talks about how nothing much comes from a clenched fist. Because if I'm like that, I can't take in. Right. So you have to, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's scary. At that time, it wasn't scary. I don't know. I think I had a year where, you know, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. You have this wonderful ability to be able to play comedy, to do comedy and drama. You do them both extraordinarily well. I have watched you, I mean, break my heart in scenes. I will never forget that Grey's Anatomy scene that you did. Just heart-wrenching. And I have been on the floor cracking up laughing at other scenes. Mm-hmm. How did you, I mean, most people do one well and the other they do okay. How were you able to do both? Is it because you tell the truth? Is it centered around the truth or what?
I just always, the drama is centered around the truth. Mm-hmm. That's just centered around the truth. Mm-hmm. And I think, and the comedy thing, it's just how I see the world, you know? Mm-hmm. I remember Lynn Nottage always said, we talked about people that have a funny bone. It's the way I see things. Like I remember one time this director came and said, where did you find that? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, okay. Like with Linda. Think about Linda for Little Miss Sunshine. That's easy.
Yes.
Linda for Little Miss Sunshine. She was, I wasn't able to physically rehearse that I did physically rehearse that. Mm-hmm. I was actually very specific when I physically rehearsed that. But doing that with Greg changed it. Right? Mm-hmm. And there were moments of physical, like when and one thing that was always funny to me about her was, you know how Black folks are bilingual.
Yes, we
Most
are.
Black folks.
Yeah.
I had to be bilingual.
Yes.
Because I have to move, you know, back and forth between different cultures, right?
Yes.
And I love how Black folks can be very pulled up, and the next moment give you something else. And that was, you know what I mean? And that was for me what she was about. Mm-hmm. And but in order to deliver the funny part, you have to not see it coming. You have to be so, like I am now, so landed and grounded in one world and very empathetic. I'm so sorry. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry for your loss. Okay. Transition. You know what I mean? And just, you saw that transition, right? Because then she gets to, and I remembered it. Okay, now you have to do this. And you have to do this. And this, and be careful that. And then and then she said something and you're like, and it's just, she slowly bleeds into the other language.
Yes, yes.
And that to me was funny.
Yes, it was funny more than to you. It was funny to all of us.
And I think that, and a lot of it happens to be with my family, my sisters and my mom and my dad. We sit around and I mean, there's a family humor that I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you don't know, because if you knew, you might, get in your head about it. It just really, it's beautiful to watch, and you just did it. You just gave us a little taste.
It's fun. If anybody ever wants to see specifically, technically, how to make something funny that you don't see coming, I was very specific about that. I was very specific about transitioning.
Wow. So you spent 3 months in Italy?
I did. Actually, it was in Europe, starting off in England, not quite Europe yet. And I had read The Artist's Way, and they talked about how, one day you'll do an artist date at an Italian restaurant, and next thing you'll go to a trip to Italy. And I remember thinking, these motherfuckers are crazy. Truly. And it turned out to be very much the truth. And I started off, and it turned out that I ended up having a bunch of friends all over Europe, and I didn't even know it. If you build it, they will come. And suddenly there was somebody in Germany, somebody in England, somebody in France, and then I ended up spending the last bit of it, last 4 days in Florence. Have you been to Florence?
Yes.
Ooh.
No.
Rome?
Yes.
Which one? Yeah.
Rome, Naples, a few places in Italy, but not Florence.
Yeah. And for me, it's their love of beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful art, chocolate, wine, food, women, shoes, and they're passionate about that,
Yeah.
So I came back and learned Italian.
You came back and learned Italian? How'd that go?
I speak Italian. It's good. I love it. It's fun.
Really? You speak a few languages, right?
Yeah, I speak French, Italian, and a little Korean. And of course English. Yeah.
What made you learn Korean?
I really like languages from all that. And I think I just have a brain because of all the singing, live for sound and stuff. And I go to an acupuncturist once a week, and he teaches me Korean. Wow.
So tell us about your book.
My book. I've transitioned out of that book.
What?
I did. This is interesting. There was a woman who's changed my life. And she kind of gave me permission to be a woman, to be an attractive woman,
You needed permission?
I did.
Okay.
I did. And now I have another teacher. And as much as I learned from her, I had to go on to somebody else who could fill in the spaces in ways that I needed to hear.
Wow, I didn't know that. See, you have to tell your friends and people who are praying for you. I'm still praying for the book, and you transitioned out of the book.
Come on now, I transitioned out.
Yes, and I'm glad you got permission to be beautiful and hot and all that stuff, because it's true. Yes. So I'm going to ask you a few questions that I ask everybody.
Yes, please.
But I want to get the Paula Newsome touch on my questions. What's your dream next? And I say that I don't like to ask actors, what you going to do next? But what would be a dream for you to do?
I wouldn't mind going back to Broadway. I love singing. I miss it. I started taking voice lessons again. I have an amazing teacher. And I miss singing. I miss communicating through song. That's what it is. Because my vision for myself was always to get myself, to get some notoriety in Los Angeles so I could come back and do any kind of play that I wanted to.
Yeah.
Or musical.
Yeah. That's going to happen.
I sense it may.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to happen.
And this is just because I'm telling the truth, is I've decided to start putting my personal life first, you know?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you too. When you decided to go to Italy or to Europe for 3 months, did you worry about missing auditions? Did you worry about missing opportunities?
No, because I tell you this, I had put my work first for a long time. I moved across the country 2 times because of my work. And, you know, as an actress, you know this, and other people probably on the phone as well, how it's like, that phone rings, you have to jump. You have to be ready to jump. So I decided, I told them, I'm going to be gone. Don't call me. I ain't coming. Don't call. And my people would always think, well, you're in Chicago, but you can always, you know, and I'd be like, yes, I can. But this, I was like, no, I can't. Don't call me. Because I saved up for like a long period of time.
Yeah.
And I paid for it in advance.
Yeah. So you had to go.
No, I didn't have to. I just chose to.
Because you paid for it in advance.
No. I mean, I bought the ticket when I was ready to say, this is when I'm leaving. I don't know, but I don't know. And I decided to fly first class. But I had a friend who cut me a deal.
Good.
Yeah.
You didn't need a deal.
Everybody needs a deal.
You could go first class. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah. But those were before anybody else was flying me. I was flying myself this time. But
good.
I decided, so it wasn't I didn't have to. I chose to. And that's one thing that God talks about in conversations with God. The difference between I want and I have to. I don't have to. I don't have to do anything. But be born and, you know.
Yeah.
But I chose to. You know?
You chose to go.
I chose to go. And I chose to say no to coming back before I was done.
Yeah. And right after you came back, right after you got back, you got some other big job.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember, but I don't remember what it was. I just remember celebrating the fact that you did you, and you did what was best for you in your life, and then it still just worked out.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
I remember one time I wanted to go back to Italy, and I was up in Vancouver doing a job, and this woman was like, dang. And I was like, what? She was, a hair person was like, dang, what? She was like, I thought I was going to be able to spend this time in Italy in this apartment, and I can't get any money back on the apartment, so I'm going to have to just forfeit it. And I was like, where is it?
So you took the apartment?
I took the apartment for 3 weeks in Italy.
Wow. It worked out for you. So somebody wants to know, somebody just asked, they want to know who the teacher is.
Which teacher?
Demira, my little sister, one of my little sisters is on here. Demira, yes. She lives in LA too. And she's a wonderful actress. Ask Demira. Which teacher, let us know which teacher. I think you're talking about the one that that made you transition from the book, but we'll see. She'll write us back.
Yeah. I don't know which teacher you're talking about.
She says, hey.
Hey.
My little sister, voice teacher. Who are you studying voice?
Oh, what's my voice teacher's name? He's gone to meet me. He don't take now, everybody. I'm going to tell you, he wasn't in. What's his name?
What you looking for?
I'm trying to look for my phone.
She'll DM me.
Yes, we'll do it that way.
Tomorrow she'll DM me, and I will. She'll text me, and I'll get it to you.
He's responsive.
He responsive and selective. But is it working well? Are you enjoying it?
It's working very well, because what's great about him is I told him I wanted to sing classically again. And when I first got there, I'm going to tell you what happened. When I first got there, he was like, okay, sing something. And he took the music. He's playing. And you could tell he was like, He wasn't feeling me so much.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I love about it,
Mm-hmm.
is I really don't care. Because I know who I am.
Right. Right.
I don't care. Because I'm going to tell you this. Because what happens for me, and I don't know whether it's cultural or whether it's, I don't know, is that when the camera is on, that's when people are like, oh my God, Paula. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when it's cut, when they see it.
Yeah.
So I always have to know who I am as an artist, because when you're in the midst of making the art with other people,
Yeah.
you run up against fears, and then there's a whole thing to negotiate with other people around.
Right. So you have to know who you are.
You have to know who you are and what you bring.
Love it. Our time is up.
Are we done?
Our time is up. I had so much more I wanted to ask you. So that just means we have to do it again.
Okay. I love you. It's so good to spend time with you.
I love you.
This is my time to have a little spend time with you.
Yes, but we'll do some FaceTime, because Robbie's gonna want to see his Auntie Paula.
Oh, is he asleep right now?
He's upstairs with his papa.
This is when you do. Oh, you're down in the basement. I don't want to know where you are. Sorry.
You down in the basement?
In the basement. She's in the studio. We're around the corner down the street.
I love you, sister.
I love you so much.
Thank you for sharing. You've dropped some gems that will stick with the actors on this feed for a long time, like it has stuck with me. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for doing this. I mean, the fact that you give back in this way, the people on this call, just stay close to this woman. When we met during Beehive back in the day, I'm going to tell you something personal about myself. I was not so comfortable around groups of people. Till this day, I'm still like, as I said. And I went in that cast of Beehive, and I was like, and this woman right here, basically, she was like, oh, I don't know what you think you're going to do, but you're going to be my friend. You're going to be my friend. And I remember thinking, what? And for the rest, we were like this.
Been like that. All these years.
95.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
But you know what? I don't throw away no friends now.
I know you don't be throwing away no friends.
Especially the good ones. Thank you, sister. I'm better. I am better for knowing you. I'm better.
I love you.
I love you too. I'll talk to you soon.
I'm blessed by you. Thank you. I love you.
Mwah! Bye.
Bye. I love you.
Love you too. You guys, wasn't that great? I mean, that was great. I am so happy that I got that time with my sister. And I'm so happy that you guys were a part of it. Yeah, when you meet friends in this business, hold on to them. They don't come often, but the ones I get, I hold on to. I got so many takeaways from today. I hope you got some as well. Remember to act between the lines, in the spaces for film and television, on the line, in theater. Don't worry about your nerves. Just tell the truth. Take your character in the room. I got a lot of good stuff. But we'll get Paula again, because she's good like that. I love y'all. Hey, stick around. At 4:30, Black Woke Business Spotlight, we are going to spotlight Dr. Rosemary Ingleton. You guys have been wanting to buy black. She has her own skincare line. Yep. And it is amazing. So I'll see y'all at 4:30. I'm heading out. I love you. And friends of mine that tune in all the time, I adore you for it. Thank you so much. Latricia, Randy Red, Demira, Latanya. I see y'all. And I love you.